Welcome back to One Foot In. I'm Ohana. No win, no guest today. Just a solo recording, and this will be quick. Uh, because of that, because it's just me, and so I won't make this too long. But there's two games to talk about. The semifinal of the college football playoff, obviously. Today is Wednesday as I'm recording this, so first game is tomorrow, Notre Dame, Penn State, and then Friday is Texas, Ohio State. So I'll just go in order. Talk about these games quickly. I'll start with Notre Dame, Penn State, obviously. And I've kind of gone back and forth on what I think on this one in terms of who I'm gonna pick to win. And the spread isn't enough to essentially what I'm trying to say is it's a small spread. It's Notre Dame minus 1.5. And so I'm not gonna pick one team to cover and the other team to win outright. So I'm not gonna take Penn State plus 1.5 and then Notre Dame to win. Because that doesn't really make any sense with the spread. Instead, what I'll do and what I think I actually let me talk about each team individually. Let me start with Notre Dame, who is coming off a huge win over Georgia, 23 to 10, knocking them off in the Sugar Bowl and looking really good in that game. And which for Notre Dame, which we've talked about, me and Win have talked about this year, about how they're Notre Dame and like they always eventually in the playoff they fall short. And it looks like this year, at least not even it looks like so far through two games, they haven't fallen short at all. In fact, they've looked really good against Indiana and Georgia. And so them, first off, that defense I think is good. Marcus Freeman, quality program out there. Um, and I think they've got a real chance, obviously, to win this game. They're favored for a reason. They've played really well all season long through these playoffs. Their one losses to Northern Illinois. Shout out. Still don't really know how that happened, but they've overcome it and they're here now. And I do think I've talked about Riley Leonard before. Now I don't think arm wise he offers um much of anything exceptional or anything above what's required. But I guess he doesn't need to. He offers enough, and athletically is where he I think shines more so. And so I don't mind Riley Leonard at quarter. I'm not. I don't worry with Riley Leonard at quarterback. And then obviously they've got Jeremiah Love um, at running back, and they've got guys in the backfield. And again, I think defensively is where they'll have to really, if they want to win this game, it'll be on the back of their defense. Now, I am taking Penn State to win the game. And I just really like Penn State, to be honest. I picked them to make the playoff at the start of the year. And that was doubted by Win, but turns out I was right. And I feel good about Penn State right now, to be honest. I feel good about Drew Aller. I mean, he didn't have to do much against Boise State, but that's because that game was in hand pretty quickly. Same with SMU. He hasn't really had to do much at all in these playoffs because they've kind of wrapped these games up fairly, not even wrapped them up, but they've jumped out to these leads and then kind of put it on cruise control. So, but I just trust Penn State. I think this defense is really good, and I think I trust Drew Aller. I think Drew Aller is really good as well, and so and he's been playing well. He's been improving the draft stock, and even though he said he's going to come back to Penn State next year, we'll see because his draft stock, he would be a top 10 pick in the draft this year if he declared. So we'll see. We'll see if he actually comes back. But I think this offense is really good when it's clicking, and I think this defense is just really good in general at all times. And the Oregon game, I think, is the exception to that. But I think that said more about Oregon, which obviously ended up losing to Ohio State, which I'll talk about in a bit. Um, but Oregon was still a great team this year, and so that loss in the Big Ten championship, it's like okay, defense didn't play well, but it's Oregon, and the offense put up 37. I was super impressed by the offense there. That's really where it started. And I kind of expect the offense, if need be, if needed, to perform really well. Kind of trust the I just trust that they will, and I know it's James Franklin, a big game, which is never the most reliable thing, but I do trust his team. I trust his team, and I'm gonna take them to win. Um, plus 1.5. They're the underdog, I guess, but it's basically a pick 'em. And I'll go with the Nittany Lions. So that's the first game, and then Ohio State, Texas, Friday. This spread was interesting to me because it's Ohio State minus 5.5, which just doesn't feel that it doesn't feel like enough of a spread for considering what Ohio State's done the past two games and who they've done it to. Um, I'm gonna take Ohio State to cover that spread and to win the game. Obviously, goes hand in hand, but 5.5 is really just not a lot when you look at how Ohio State has played these past two games and the way they've started games. Really, I think is key here. Tennessee, they open it up in the first quarter up 21 nothing. And at that point, Tennessee's just it's over. Like the talent that Ohio State has, it's not you're not going to come back down 21 nothing after they jump out 21 nothing on you in the first quarter. And at that point, the game's just over. Like you have no chance. And then against Oregon, similarly, I mean, not even even more so. I guess after the first quarter, it's 14 nothing, but you know, they jump out to 34 nothing lead before half. And you're not going to come back on them. Even if you're the number one team in the country, you're not making a 34-point comeback on this Ohio State team. They're just too good. And so I think that's the key to this game, really. I think it's the first quarter and a half. We're going to find out where this game's going to, if Texas can keep it close and kind of muck it up and kind of turn into a style game that they've been playing, which has been these dogfights to an extent. I mean, Arizona State ended up being a dogfight, but Texas just collapsed in the fourth quarter, really, and then pulled it out in overtime somehow. Um, but if Texas can maintain or can just tread water, can just not get boat raced before half, then all of a sudden I think it's a different game. I think Texas wants it to be. I mean, obviously, ideally for Texas, they jump out to a huge lead, but as long as they just win that first quarter, not even win it, and by win I mean don't be down 21 points. Um, that second quarter by half, don't be down big. Just keep it close throughout, and then I think they have a chance, um, a much better chance. Even though I've been a big Texas guy all year and all that, but I think just keep it close, and I think their odds go up drastically. I don't think it'll be close. I do think Ohio State will win probably by 10 to 14 points, which I guess considering um the outcome of their past two games, that would be kind of close for them. But they just feel they're just clicking on a different level right now. And I don't expect anyone to really stop that. That defense is phenomenal. It just is. It's the best defense in the country. Most talented defense in the country. Caleb Downs is unbelievable, and Will Howard has been on fire in the playoffs so far. He's got against Oregon 319 yards, three touchdowns against Tennessee. 311 yards, two touchdowns. He had a pick, but whatever. He was 24 for 29. His completion percentage is super high. He's completing most of his throws. Um, he's getting the ball to his playmakers. They've spread it out. They figured it out. I mean, not even figured it out. They've course corrected from the Michigan debacle and have abandoned trying to be this physical run team, which they're just not. And they've gone back to their roots, which is get the ball to the playmakers and let them make plays. And that's what they should be doing. And Jeremiah Smith obviously was amazing against Oregon, and they couldn't stop him. And if they can replicate that against Texas, then there's no reason they should lose. Because they are more talented. Well, Texas is one of the few teams that could probably match up um, talent wise, especially on the defensive end. But I still think Ohio State has a talent edge, and I think they have playing better recently edge, a momentum edge, and I think that matters. And I still don't know that I trust Quinn Ewers. I just don't. I just don't know that. And I thought, I mean, the throw on 4th and 13 in overtime was obviously huge. It was impressive. The composure was impressive. I mean, the throw was pretty. I mean, it was an open receiver and all that, but the process was impressive. So that was a good first step. But I'm not gonna hitch my wagon to Quinn Ewers being able to do that again. And so I'm just gonna go with Ohio State here and to cover the 5.5. I think they're gonna win by 10 to 14, like I said. And it's gonna be Ohio State, Penn State, a Big Ten national championship, which at that point it might be it for Penn State. But we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Um, but yeah, I mean, you could have told me at the start of the year Texas, Ohio State would have been the national championship, and I would have believed you. I mean, I had Texas in the national championship at the start of the year, and we're getting in the semifinals. So I think that's pretty cool, and I'm excited to see it. So that's pretty much it. Um, for these two games. Again, keeping it short. No win, nobody else, just me. So don't want it to be too long. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'll be back. Well, I think next episode probably will be in person. Me and Win will be back in person. So that'll be interesting. That'll be fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. See you.